It was a perfect day in Africa. I was doing what I love to do, running a canoe safari on the Zambezi River, and everything had been going according to plan. That was right up to the part where one of the chaps in one of the canoes I was leading was hit by a hippopotamus and knocked into the river. My job as the guide was to go back and rescue him, and things were going pretty well. I was leaning over to grab a hold of him when this hippo surged up between us and quite literally plucked me out of my canoe.
So, what, took you by your head and shoulders? And what do you remember about that moment?
Very little about that moment, Tim. It happened so very quickly. The first thing I knew, I was in a deep, dank place with this incredible pressure crashing down on my lower back. I struggled to break free, but with all the pressure on me, it was a pretty pathetic attempt at first. But managing to get one hand free, I could feel the bristles on a hippo's snout. So then at least I knew where I was, head first up to my waist down a hippo's throat.
Oh, my goodness. And taken into the water, I mean, what was it like? I mean, one thinks of Jonah and the whale, but inside a hippopotamus, what is that like, stuffed down its throat?
Tim, the first part of the attack took about 3.5 minutes, so the first part was pretty disorientating. But I got to spend about 3.5 minutes there. Fortunately, my body slowed down. I guess adrenaline kicked in. And as the hippo threw me about and splashed around, when I was on the surface, I would take a deep breath and suck in air, and then I got to smell hippo's breath. Rotten eggs, Tim, rotten eggs. When we were underwater, I would hold my breath. All the while, I would try to hold on to the tusks that bore through me, just so my flesh didn't tear so much as he shook me all about.
You lost an arm, though, didn't you? Did that come off immediately? I mean, did the hippo take that?
It was crushed to a pulp. So I was pretty fortunate when I got to the nearest hospital about 8 hours away. They thought they were taking off both arms and one of my legs, so I was pretty lucky just to lose one arm.
The guy who went in, though, or whoever went in, I mean, what happened to them?
Unfortunately, he didn't fare so well. He drowned.
So, Paul, I mean, you have now become a motivational speaker. What did this teach you about your life, about what you want to do? I mean, something like this, which is so traumatic. I mean, you know, people get caught up in sort of huge tragedies and accidents, but you actually confronted death, didn't you, with a wild animal?
I did, and I was extremely fortunate insofar as the surgeon who put me back together again, not only did he give me my body, but one day when I was being a bit of a pain in the neck as a patient, he stood by my bed, looked me square in the eyes and said, "Paul, remember this, you're the sum of your choices. You're exactly who, what, and where you choose to be in life." At the time, I wasn't that impressed, but his message of accountability and living out of our choices seemed to resonate. And fortunately, I've been able to take that bad day at the office and use it as a catalyst to do quite a lot of good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you've written about this, haven't you? And what is your message to people who now ask to hear or recruit you to come and talk to them, maybe in sort of big organisations?
It would be focusing on the notion that stuff happens, life's going to happen. It's the age-old adage of the one thing, often the only thing we have any choice over is how we respond to whatever it is that life throws at us.
Have you been back to the Zambezi? I
have. In fact, I led a 3-month expedition down the river, the fullest descent of the river to date. Prostitutes made me a kayak paddle that I could strap onto one arm and paddle a kayak again.
Do you meet any hippos?
I got fairly close, but not too close.